kind of just, doing my thing and, smoking weed on the side and, you know, because, my anxiety and, thinking that would help my anxiety and also, calisthenics, because I do calisthenics
Mhm.
content as well. Like calisthenics, especially weighted, puts like a lot of stress on the body. Um, and so, sometimes I would, feel like my joints were like literally like ripping apart. So I would use,
Nice.
I would use, weed to, kind of help with that too. And it just kind of developed over time to a full blown addiction. So I was still posting content, still, gaining followers, all that stuff. But, on the side, I really, was struggling. And then it came to a breaking point, back in 2020. Because I know you said that this podcast is all about, men overcoming obstacles.
Mhm.
Not, 2020 and 2021, well, that was the biggest obstaces, that I ever faced, because it was like a borderline life or death situation, with my mindset, with my thoughts. Because before, I'm gonna be honest, I'm an open book. Like,
Absolutely.
I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. That's just what it was.
Hey, just be you, man. Just be you,
Yeah,
and
for real. Like I was spoiled, growing up, and just like blessed, just to be in the position that I'm at, and I grew out of that. I realized the platform, that I have and the support that I have,
Mhm.
like I have no, like my mindset now is like I have no choice, but to succeed. Like if I don't, like it's just like that's just a waste, like complete like waste of my parents, time and money and efforts. Um, so but like through that, like I really never really had a trial, a big trial, but like this one
Okay.
was huge because back in like 2020, so around like Q4 2020, I went into what they call it, I was smoking way too much, and then it became a point where I fell into like a drug induced psychosis, which is like
Oh,
they originally I guess they called it bipolar,
okay.
because I did have a manic episode. Like I wasn't sleeping. I didn't sleep for about 20 days.
You didn't sleep
Um,
for 20 days?
yeah, like just going like my mind, because my mind wouldn't turn off. Like
Right.
my mind literally wouldn't turn off. Like I was just going like this, like 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. Like I'll just learn at the time, like why isn't it morning yet? Why is it morning yet? So I didn't sleep for about 20 days, and so
Oh
I
my
ended up
God.
in three different hospitals. Man, that was the worst, absolute worst part of my time, because I remember the first hospital I was at, and it was in the hood of Philly. Hood of Philly, like it was just rough, man. And then I went to second and third just to get just to get better, and then kind of coming out of that, I did unknowingly, I burnt so many bridges, man. It was ridiculous. Obviously people left, and that's to them too. That really, that hurt, at the moment, because I didn't realize, what I was doing. And
Mhm.
so like I really just fell into a huge depression, man. Like, became a recluse, man. Like I stopped working out. I was around 150 pounds, and I went up to 215,
And how
212,
tall are you?
212.
Just get an
Yeah.
idea.
Oh, I'm about 5'6".
5'6"? Okay.
I usually I always rounded myself up to 5'7", because I'm like 5'6" and like 3/4, but
Hey, cool. Hey, just with the right
it
shoes?
is
Boom. No one needs to know.
it is yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
All good. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, and that's fine.
There you go.
But yeah, so just going, kind of just going through that, and I went up to about 215, 212, 215. Just basically my schedule is just eating, sleeping, eating, sleeping, eating, sleeping, eating, sleeping. And so I didn't really have a purpose. I kind of after that incident, after all the damage that I really caused, and to my own fault, of course. um I wrote my entire life off. I was like, I guess I'm just not doing anything the rest of my life. I'll just eat until I die. Like that was like my
Mhm.
mindset. So but like obviously that became a miserable mindset, horrible mindset. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep well. My eating was like sporadic. Sometimes some days I would eat, some days I wouldn't. And this happened like pretty much all 2021, like excuse me. And then like going into early 2022. And like I was seeing therapists and psychiatrists at the time, just to kind of like mitigate the mitigate the stress, and
Right.
obviously you can continue to give me medication to handle the symptoms.